All good.
So, all right then. What's up, ADHD crew? That's how we always start.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's a
Yeah.
great intro. Love it.
Yeah. Welcome back to ADHD Talk. You are the sixth participant so far. So thanks for joining. This is Olivia. I can say your name, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. Just to make sure. Are you diagnosed?
So I went to a psychiatrist and I did the test about doing the checklist. And I talked about like my childhood, and my mum wasn't there at the I'm going mind blank at the session, but they
Yeah.
called my mum up and my mum talked about it as well. And the psychiatrist basically said, yeah, you've got predominantly inattentive ADHD.
Oh, right. Same as me.
Yeah.
So, did you notice the inattention throughout your life? Do you want to explain how, you got to that diagnosis?
Yeah. So basically, I didn't really think that I had anything going on until maybe a few months ago, really. At the start
Right.
of this year, I was studying music.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. But then COVID-19 happened and I had to go home because I had to move state to go to the university. And I wanted to come back to see my family and friends after I had been in isolation for 2 weeks, of course. I didn't want to be away after the borders closed, basically.
Yeah.
And I was really starting to struggle with my studies. I was struggling while I was at the university, but when it turned to online, I just could not process anything. I couldn't learn
Yeah.
anything, which is odd because I've been studying music for the better half of my life, and I still couldn't learn these new things. So it's kind of a bit of a letdown. So I started to really think, well, maybe I've actually got something going on.
Yeah.
It's the one part of my life where I really thought, oh, like this isn't really normal. Like even though like COVID-19 was happening and things were a bit out of control,
It showed, I think
it
it
really did
brings it to
show.
the surface. Yeah.
Yeah. So I started looking up like TED Talks and articles and YouTube videos. And I was like, oh shit, I probably do
Yeah.
have this.
It
Yeah.
all went from there.
It all made sense. So I
Yeah.
called up my doctor, he referred me to a psychiatrist, and I got diagnosed. So yeah. It's pretty
Nice.
I'm from Australia. I thought I'd better
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if you could tell.
Yeah.
But it's not that hard to get diagnosed around here. We're pretty good. We've got a
Yeah.
good healthcare system. Um, but yeah, it was good. It was a pretty quick process. I'm not completely diagnosed yet. They basically said you probably have it, but we're going to send you to a specialist just to make sure. And I haven't gone to that specialist yet. I still have to sort that out. I've been
Right.
putting it off a bit.
Does it take long? Is
To
there a
get
long
diagnosed.
waiting list? Yeah.
Oh, well, all the doctor and the psychiatrist and the specialist all know each other pretty well.
Right.
So they're just kind of like letting them know, and then I think I've just somehow made the connections to get
Yeah.
a pretty quick process. So
Well, that's good. I
lucky.
hear
Yeah.
so many people saying that they have to wait 18 months,
Mm.
crazy amount of time, which I can see why a lot of people go private in the end because they're just desperate.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, a lot of my symptoms are pretty highly, like I'm pretty high up on the scale for inattentive ADHD. I don't have like little symptoms, like they're pretty there.
Yeah.
So Yeah, so they're kind of
What's the
they
worst then?
focusing. I can't focus at all. Uh, like I try to. I was bad when I was younger. Like I think I've grown out of a lot of things.
Yes, I think we do.
My inattention is still pretty bad.
Yeah.
My thoughts were all over the place. I try to explain it. I try to like write it down how to explain it, and I basically said it's kind of like you're in the middle of a big room of 100 other people, and the one person you're trying to listen to is on the other side of the room, and they're whispering, and everyone else is yelling at you, and you just
Yes. Great
can't do
analogy.
anything. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to understand what they're saying, but they're all the way over there and they're whispering, and you can't focus on that. So you just
Yeah.
look at talk to everyone else, I
It's
guess. I don't
like,
know.
I think I relate to that because I remember when I was younger as well. I think it is much worse when you're really young, and you do tend to the severity does seem to reduce in adulthood over the years, but it's still there. But I relate to that feeling of trying to listen, concentrate in class, things like that, and it would feel like it's like physically uncomfortable because you're trying so hard. It's like a brick wall crumbling
Yeah.
gradually, and you're trying to. That's
Oh,
your
yeah.
focus. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, everyone shut up, and it's just like in your ear. It's like physically uncomfortable because you're straining so hard to shut it all
Yeah.
out. You know?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. My family, I have a really loud family, a
Right.
very loud family. It's can be torture sometimes because I have pretty sensitive, hearing, and when it gets in my head, it's just like. Ugh. But I had a lot of family come up over the weekend, and I couldn't sit in the same room with them for a
Yeah.
longer amount of time just because everybody was just yelling, and I was just like, I can't just be quiet.
It's overwhelming, right? You just can't
Yeah,
keep up.
I much prefer quiet people,
Yeah.
even though I
Same.
can be a bit loud sometimes
Hmm.
if I get excited over things. Yeah.
Do you have any impulsivity or hyperactivity at all in certain ways?
I had to think about this. It made a lot of sense when I thought about my childhood because when I was in primary school, I was very hyperactive.
Right.
Always on my school reports, it would say I'm distracting the class, or I couldn't sit still in my chair, or
Wow.
I always asked to go to the toilet even though I just really just wanted to walk around. I couldn't.
Yeah. So it's kind of
Hit.
changed as you've gotten older.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So um, I was pretty hyperactive. I'm not sure why I didn't get diagnosed when I was a child. It's
Mm.
pretty obvious. I think because I live in a small town in Australia, um, it's just not there's just not that much awareness. Um,
Sure.
and my parents, they just didn't really like acknowledge it. They just thought I was just a loud kid. Um, but as I turned maybe 12, 13, going back a fair while ago, as I was just changing from primary school to high school, something changed. Like I just kind of clicked, and I was just like, I can't keep uh, annoying people. I can't keep distracting the class. I can't keep going crazy.
Mm.
Can't keep interrupting people. But I've just got to change. I've got to figure something out. And every time I come back from primary school, I just think about the day, and I was like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? Why am I so crazy? Like when I'm at
Mm.
home,
You
I'm not.
regret.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, why? That was so awkward. And like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Put your foot in your mouth.
Um,
Things.
yeah. And because of that, because I was so annoying, well, I think I was so annoying. I look back on it and it's like, yeah, I probably should have
Yeah. I was a
stopped
little
doing
shit.
that.
I
I
was a little
was a
shit
little
as well.
shit. That's a good way to put it. I was a little shit there. Um, I didn't have a lot of friends. Like
No. Same.
I'd always go up to people and like, oh, hey, how you going? But they'd just be like, yeah, good. And they'd just walk off. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Is that? Do you think your
Um,
behavior influenced that?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I think if I just purposely went a whole day without talking, people would have liked me better instantly because I just talk all the time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, as I grew into high school, sorry. That's just somebody, my old. As I grew into high school, I just calmed down a lot, but my inattention kind of felt like it rose.
Mm.
I got horrible grades, classic symptom of ADHD. Music was my saving point, really. I started playing music when I was in year 8, so I was 13. I started playing trombone, and it's kind of like it was like a hyperactivity kind of outlet, because like there's so much physical movement, there's so much focusing. Like
So
I can
you can
hyper
express yourself in a healthy way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just getting that. It's like the build up. It's getting the build up out, getting the build up of all that energy
I get it.
Yeah, yeah. So I highly recommend anyone watching that's got ADHD, especially hyperactive ADHD. If you're not playing music, get on to playing music because it's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Mm.
It might be
Yeah.
hard to learn at first, but everything is hard to learn at first with us. But it's
So you play trombone, is that?
yeah, I play
Yeah.
trombone.
Nice.
I've been playing
So you,
for 9 years now.
excellent. You must be pretty good by now then.
Maybe. I can't say that I am. I don't know. I'll let other people decide that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, having a healthy outlet and expressing yourself, because I think music is a really powerful tool.
Yeah.
And with ADHD, it sort of makes you very passionate, I think,
Yeah.
very commonly at least. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
it's kind of
Yeah.
like the music becomes a part of your soul, you're expressing how you
Yeah.
feel on the
You
inside.
said that in a video.
Yeah,
I was
it's
watching
true.
one of your videos before. I'm like, oh, you don't understand how.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so true.
it's like
Like
you're living that song.
you are. And when you're,
Yeah.
I was thinking about this as well. Like I think about a lot of things. I have 100 thoughts going at a time. But I remember thinking about if I had a good few pieces, a good few difficult, but really like I really enjoy them, and I've got like a whole day to spend. I can spend the whole day just hyper focusing, getting all those bars perfect, getting all that pieces perfect. And I
Right.
can't do that for anything else. So yeah.
Oh, it's your passion, so
Try doing that with math. No way.
math. You're not good at
Yeah,
that,
I
are you?
hate maths. I hate
Same,
maths.
yeah. It's interesting though, because I sometimes think that I've got to be careful about what I say. Oh, ADHD people do this and that. I mean, in general, there's a lot of truth to it, but I see on, um, say like there's some Facebook groups, ADHD support, and they're saying like, oh, I'm this, I've got this habit, and people I think there's that risk of us labeling every single trait as ADHD, where sometimes it's just personality, but the ADHD
Yeah,
brings it out. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. It's kind of like it accents it. It kind of
Yeah,
like makes it rise, even though
yeah,
like some people don't have it at all.
yeah. It's like some people, there's that stereotype that people with ADHD are creative, but I've read people saying, oh, I don't have that, or I'm really good at math, and they're very sort of logic. So
Mm,
I think there is a gray area when it comes
yeah,
to these things.
yeah. I can kind of see what you mean. It's like if you have a small creative bone in your body and then you've got ADHD, it kind of makes it bigger. But if you've got ADHD, but you're not really that creative at all, like you're not, it doesn't
Yeah,
really affect it, kind of thing. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I've got. I'm lucky enough to have a friend who's got ADHD as well,
right.
but I think she's a bit more hyperactive. Um, but I was lucky enough to have her through high school,
Mm,
and it's just helps so much when you have someone that's similar to you
sure.
and go through a very tough time, because high school was a very tough time for me.
Yeah.
Um, I've dropped out of university twice now.
Really?
Yeah, so I did year 12. I did VCE, which is Victorian Certificate of Education. It's just like doing, you know, like science and maths as a final year kind of thing, you know, all those types of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I completed that, but I went straight into a diploma the next year, and I was so burnt out from exams that I just couldn't focus. There's no way that I could focus at all on anything.
Yeah.
It's burnt me out completely. I was feeling pretty down about myself, so I had to drop out. I was doing nursing.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah. I always liked the health aspect of things as well. I did a health subject for my final subjects in school, and I did pretty well at that as well. So I did music and health were my top
Right.
two.
Nice
Yeah.
all-round
Yeah,
person.
well, yeah, I like to think so.
Yeah.
So I did nursing. I decided that I was going to drop out after like a month and a half, just because my
Was
brain
that
was
all?
just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, my brain, I
Shame.
just couldn't focus. I couldn't focus. But I decided I was going to get my first aid certificate, and then I would drop out. So I did that. I was happy I did that. I had been working for the next 4 years. Yeah. Was it 5? One of those. And then I got the chance to go to university again to study music, jazz music.
Awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. That's interesting. So I think, do you think now that you've found the right course for you? Is it a matter of just experimenting?
I don't know. Um,
Is it as
ADHD
difficult?
makes ADHD makes studying anything very difficult
Yeah, but it helps being
because
passionate, really passionate.
it does a
Yeah,
lot. Like I thought I was passionate about nursing, but I wasn't as passionate as I needed to be, if that makes sense.
yeah,
Like I liked it and I liked learning about it, but
it's not
there were
enough.
big books to read, there were PowerPoints to look through, there was, heaps of essays, heaps of assignments to write, as there would be in a nursing diploma. But I just wasn't ready. I think I was still a bit too immature developmentally with my
Yeah,
things like that. So I just had to just drop out.
fair enough. I think, yeah, there's a lot of truth in that. I did the same actually. I went to university at 18, and then I was just so not ready. I was just way too immature. My ADHD was at its peak around 18.
Yeah.
So, I went back later after a bit of experience. I think I'd say for ADHD people, it's important to not just jump into doing a course and do
Yeah.
extensive research to see if it's something you truly would be able to put all your heart and soul into, because liking it is just not enough, I find,
Yeah. Exactly.
you know?
And back then I didn't even think that I had anything going on. I didn't really think I had ADHD or anything like that,
Yeah.
because I figured it was just because of my exams. I was just so tired from my exams. I didn't feel like studying anything for the rest of my life, or I just I couldn't get myself up to the standard I need to be. Yeah.
So did you try any, study techniques or methods?
Yeah, I did. I just tried searching up, just casual studying techniques. I did do them. I was setting alarms. I was making sure I was eating breakfast every day. Apparently that helps heaps, and it did, I think. Made sure I was getting enough sleep. Completely different to how things are now. Just the usual type of things. Just making sure that I'm staying on top of things, giving myself time to have a break,
Yeah.
set timers, things like that. But it was still like, even when I was completely awake, I was completely ready to focus. I was sitting down, nothing's distracting. Well, everything's distracting, but minimum distractions, stuff like that. It was still so hard to read. I
Because it's the
tried to read
mind.
a sentence. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I tried to read a sentence and I couldn't
just doesn't go in and stay there.
It's like I'm reading. Yeah, it's like I'm reading a different
so
language.
frustrating. Yeah.
I tried everything. It was like I can't. And it
Yeah.
definitely felt like it was because of my exams the year before, but now I look back on it, it's definitely because of the ADHD. Yeah.
Mm. So you're not actually medicated, are you?
I'm not. I haven't been on medication yet.
Mm.
So I'm after I know I've got it. Like you know how
Yeah.
you know how you just
It's
like
just
yeah.
like there's no way I don't have
There's
it.
no way I
You know?
don't have it. That's
Yeah.
right. So I'm gonna say when I get diagnosed, the main medication for ADHD in Australia is Adderall. So that's the amphetamine. So I don't know if I want to go straight into that just because it's pretty strong. And I'm not sure. Like I wouldn't mind just trying any medication.
Yeah, it's probably on the lowest dose first, so it
Yeah,
wouldn't be overwhelming.
exactly. I'm kind of interested in it. Kind of like I've read some articles. I've watched videos about people, and everyone says like once you have medication, it just everything becomes different. Like you're able to focus. And
Opens
to
the
me, that's
gate.
so
Yeah.
foreign. It's so foreign to me because it's like I can't focus. Like I can't
Yeah.
imagine what it's like to focus. I can hyper focus, but I
Yeah.
can't imagine what it's like just to normally focus. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bit of a shame that we didn't have this knowledge when we were needed it the most when we were younger to actually compare ourselves medicated to unmedicated. It'd be like, oh wow,
You're
I
right.
wish I had this 10 years ago or whatever, you know.
Imagine if I had it in school.
Mm.
Oh,
Straight A
I
student.
yeah, maybe. Still would have probably messed around a bit. I was a bit of a jokester in my
Mm.
at school. But I just imagine what it would have been like if I was able to focus, you know,
Yeah.
understand what the teacher's saying when they're talking straight at me. I can't
Yeah.
understand what people are talking about when they're just talking to me, like
Yeah, it
just
just
like this.
goes, it's like a sieve.
Like
It just goes straight through.
it goes straight through. Like I
Mm.
go to well, I went to Centrelink just to sort out some payments and stuff. I don't know if you've got, I don't know. It's an Australian kind of payment kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
Just sorts out all the government stuff that you need to do.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there, right? And this person was talking to me about taxes and payments and stuff
Mm.
like that. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying right now. And it's very important information.
Mm. Mm.
Oh no. So I had to actually get one of my friends to come with me the next time. I was like, this is going to sound stupid, but I need you to come with me to help me understand what's going on. So you listen to them, and then when we're sitting in the car driving home, you just tell me what they said
Yeah.
in my
Interpret basically.
yeah.
Because it's hard enough when you don't understand the subject in general, but to filter out your own thoughts and external distractions as well. It's
Oh,
like you might as well just be talking to a brick wall.
it, yeah. And it was such a big room with other people talking as well. I
Yeah,
can hear
just
what they were saying. So
nod your
here
head.
I am just hearing what they're saying. And they're talking about some crazy thing, I'm sure. Like anything that's slightly interesting, I'll be listening. That
Mm,
sounds bad, but I can't help it.
I know what you
Um,
mean.
yeah, it's just like I feel like I'm eavesdropping on you right now. I'm sorry. That's just my mind. And even when that was happening, I didn't know I had ADHD. I only found out
Yeah.
um, after I realized, like, after my jazz course, that I probably do have something, you know.
Mm. So you always kind of felt like, why this isn't right? Why am I struggling so hard?
Every day,
Yeah,
every day.
just know something's off.
I'd go to school and it's like they're giving me homework and schoolwork that's at least 3 levels above my, you know, knowledge. And it's like, I'm not stupid, you know, I'm not,
Yeah, sure.
I have really deep thoughts and I have like interesting things. I'm good at problem solving. I'm good at puzzles. I'm good at like when we had to do teamwork about like logical things, I could always pick it up first straight away. And it's like, well, why can I do that? But I can't understand what people are saying when they're talking to me, you know?
It's good.
Especially,
Yeah, you're going at
yeah,
your own pace. That's the difference, I think.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I started watching, I think the first YouTube channel I started watching was How to ADHD. And she discusses a lot of things, but she doesn't, well, she goes into inattentive ADHD, but she doesn't focus completely on inattentive ADHD.
Right.
I was like, well, I need to look for someone who's got the same thing as me. And I found you. And I was like, oh,
Here
perfect.
I am.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just tough. My parents don't really understand, which isn't
No.
uncommon, I've found. Which is funny because my mum, she's a psychologist. So
Oh wow.
yeah,
She should know more than anyone.
she should, but she hasn't studied
Hmm.
ADHD at all. She's more, depression and anxiety. But
Yeah.
I don't have depression, anxiety, surprisingly. I know that depression and anxiety are like the big symptoms of ADHD.
That's very fortunate. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know how that happened, but I think it's just my outlook of myself. I kind of just stayed happy, I guess.
Great.
It's hard to explain, you know.
Mm.
I'm sure you understand, but it's like um, everybody's different. Everybody's life is
Yeah,
different.
exactly. It shows up differently in a lot of people. That's why I do get people saying, "Oh, I don't have this trait." I relate to 90% of what you're saying.
Mm.
So it just goes to show there's that grey area because personality plays a role, your upbringing plays a role, your belief system,
Yeah, yeah,
and also just your lifestyle, how well you look after yourself, or how
yeah,
it can really skew how you view your own traits, and it can just it makes it more or less hard to distinguish what it really is at its core because
yeah,
it can be different levels of severity. Some people have it very badly. I'd say I probably got quite a mild case, especially, well, now in the last 5 years, it's really calmed down. But I relate to you saying more hyperactive in adolescence and what have you. But I think there's a lot of hormonal influence that can
yeah.
change because
Like with
it
puberty's
does,
making it
yeah,
happening.
I
Yeah.
think ADHD it does um, become more internalized with age, as far as I can see from all the studies I've looked at.
It's kind of like you want to fit in more, and you've realized that to fit in and to make friends, like when you go into high school, it becomes more important for you to become, well, seem normal and make friends because it's kind of like you're being pressured to do
Survival,
that.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So you kind of have to force yourself to change.
adapt, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But I still do get hyperactive symptoms. It's not as bad, but I still do have it. Like I'm always moving at least one part of my body, either my foot, my hands, or like I'm just moving something. So there's always fidgeting going on. If I meet new people, I'll tend to talk a lot. So let me know if I'm talking too
mm.
much.
No, not at all.
Oh, great. Good to know.
I've had people on that's far more hyperactive, so don't worry.
That should be fun.
I can't get a word in with some people,
You're just sitting there, just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much. Not to
That
put
must
them
be.
down, but
No,
just
no, no.
something I
It's like,
observed.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially when I'm with a new group of people, it is so daunting to me because I grew up in a small town. We're talking like a population of 8,000 people. That might not sound small to you, but it's just there's other cities around me that's like Melbourne,
Yeah.
heaps of people. Um, so I've grown up with the same people my whole life. I've known the same people ever since I was born. I can't go down the street without bumping into at least 10 people I know, you know. So
Yeah.
I've grown up with that kind of lifestyle, and then I go to a completely different state. Nobody I know, no family whatsoever. And I didn't think I had bad social anxiety, but it kind of flipped me on my head, that did. But they were great. They were great people. Sorry, let me just put this back in.
Nice background, by the way. Curtains.
Thank you. It's just in my room.
Mm.
You should see the rest of my room. Actually, no, you shouldn't. What was I saying? Oh yeah, no, they were great people, but
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone, and I was always the person who was just either sitting in the corner, not saying a word, and I was always like the weirdo, just like kind of like that. Or I would talk too much. And I don't like talking too much because you can tell that they're just like, oh yeah, uh-huh.
Talking at them. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's one
yeah.
extreme or the other.
Yeah. And it's kind of like I wasn't talking their language. It's like I had my own way of talking. I had my own thoughts that I'd express. I'd have, you know, my own opinions that were just completely out there to them. It felt like, but to me, they just seemed normal. It was just my own language. It was just the way I thought, the way I talked.
Yeah.
Do you get that a bit?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I live in my own little world, I suppose. I've got very sort of unique interests that I find um, make me stand out slightly. I think
Mm.
because I do live, I'm kind of an introvert, so I don't know whether that's related to inattentiveness, but yeah, I've spent a lot of time um, on my own because I don't tend to fit in that well with people.
That's me.
Uh, yeah, again, I'm not sure. I'm trying to research on this because I can't really tell if it's an inattentive ADHD trait or whether it's just coincidentally personality. It's very mysterious, but I understand what you mean. Yeah, I'm a bit outside the box, and
Yeah,
people pick up that I'm a bit different,
yeah,
but in a good
and
way. I wouldn't say people like me in general, you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
but I
yeah.
intrigue people, I think.
That's exactly me. All of that is just 100%. I am a big introvert. Oh, probably not a huge introvert, but I'm a pretty big introvert. I don't
Uh,
party.
I have heard inattentive people saying that they're extroverts as well. So
Mm.
again, this backs up the fact that I can't make any solid claims about it.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think just
Everybody's different.
being different can be, I think it is probably a common theme.
Yeah. Like if their ADHD is, I don't know, like this is just my opinion, but if the ADHD is kind of quirky enough and in a good way that people really like them for who they are, then I feel like they'd be more extroverted and they'd want to go
Mm.
see people all the time because they like them for who they are, kind of
Yeah,
thing. But I feel like if you've grown up in a place where people have just seen you as different, but they haven't
yeah,
taken the
not
time to
accepted.
understand you, yeah,
Yeah,
then
I think
it could kind of turn you a bit more introverted.
yeah, it's. I think life has taught me to hold back because of fear of being ridiculed and just the pain of not being accepted and so
Yeah,
on. I experienced that throughout my whole childhood. So basically, life conditioned me to, to stay in myself. It's just kind of
yeah,
sad, but it all
it is
depends on your upbringing,
actions. Yeah, yeah.
and
Like
people around you.
it's hard to. I think there are points where people are just different anyway.
Mm,
Like everybody's different with ADHD, but a lot of it has to do with the upbringing. Yeah, I agree with that. Um, I was pretty bullied when I was in primary school. So, like, that was when I was really hyperactive and I was really just in everybody's face.
yeah,
So, I'm not surprised there. But nobody really tried to come up to me and like, hey, why do you, talk like this? Why do you do that? And nobody really actually like tried to understand. They just saw me as that, which is like, it's not exactly anybody's fault. It's just that's how little kids are sometimes.
Yeah.
Kids don't have the mental capacity to understand that some people can be different for reasons that they don't know yet.
They just don't know any better because they're still too young to know.
Exactly. All they know is that this person is different and annoying.
Yeah.
And
I've had people tell me, oh, you remember the way you were in school, Stu? I was like, no, come on then, bro. Tell me, how was it?
yeah,
Come on,
exactly. It's
tell me
like,
to my face.
yeah, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Oh, look at me now,
Yeah, 10K on YouTube.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Look at me
Thanks a
now, that's
lot.
for
Yeah.
sure. Awesome, dude. Yeah, I really love what you're doing, man. It's awesome.
Thank you. I think
Yeah.
we'll have to wrap this up now because it's
Oh,
I tried
is
to
it?
keep it short for our
Yeah.
viewers,
Yeah.
But thank you so much. I've really enjoyed interviewing.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it's been a
We'll
good
have to do
one.
it again. Fantastic. All right.
Uh,
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Have a good what time is it now? Is it over
It
there?
is 8:38
All right.
in the
Yeah,
evening.
it's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
It's good. All right. All right. I'll talk to you later
All right.
and have a good day at work.
Thanks, Olivia.
All
All the
right.
best.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.